All right, and welcome. We're going to show you something really fun now with a deck of playing cards. And as you notice, I've already taken one of the cards out of this deck and placed it right here under the box. We'll get back to that in just a couple moments. Right now, though, we're going to have this deck of cards, and we're going to hand it to a spectator, a friend, a family member, and have them just deal some cards from the top of the deck to make a small pile, and they can stop whenever they want. They can actually take cards in the middle of the deck. They can take piles of cards. They can take them from the bottom. You just want them to make a smaller pile of cards from the main deck, and they can stop whenever they want. Okay. Now that we have this smaller pile, we're going to deal this pile, this packet, into two little piles, one here and one here. We're now going to alternate and make two smaller packets right here. A lot of confusion, a lot of mixing, a lot of back and forth action, but we've landed on two smaller packets from the main deck. Now we're not worried about the cards that are in the full packet here or here. We're worried about the cards that are right here on top of the packet. Six of diamonds and the Jack of Hearts. Now, we're going to take these cards and we're going to do something with them. We're going to create a new card. We've got the Six of Diamonds. We'll use that value, the 6. And we'll use the Jack of Hearts. We'll use the heart. So we'll combine those to make the 6 of Hearts. Now, if you remember, before we started this, I had a card under the box. It's been sitting there. You saw it. And for the first time, I will show it to you. It is the 6 of Hearts. A perfect match, if I do say so myself. Now, the good news is this is very, very easy to do. You can also perform this with any deck of cards. They can literally hand you a deck of cards if you're at a party or if you're hanging out with some friends and they hand you a deck of cards, or if you see one, you go, hey, check this out. You can literally do this with a borrowed and shuffled deck. Here's how it works. When you get the deck back from your friends, you're going to look at the top two cards when you're spreading through the cards. You're going to get to the very last two here. And again, these can be shuffled and mixed. Shuffled and mixed. You're not setting anything up. But when you get to the very end, you'll see the top two cards here. In my case, the Nine of Spades and the Queen of Hearts. What we're now going to look for is the Nine of Hearts. That's going to be the card that we're going to predict. So I'm going to go through the deck and we're going to take out the Nine of Hearts. And that's going to be the card that you place in the card box, maybe put it in someone's hand. This is the card that they don't know what it is. So do this secretly so they don't know what it is. And that's over here. Now this is very, very simple. These cards are still here on top. So now when you hand them the deck of cards and have them deal the cards from this deck, make a small pile, well, the top two cards go first. That's important. Now they can really deal from anywhere. They can deal packets of cards, little piles. They can deal from the middle of the deck. They can deal from the bottom. It doesn't matter as long as those first two cards go first. And you stop, you have them stop whenever they want. Pick up the smaller little packet here and have them deal it in now to two smaller packets. We're going to alternate left and right. And you can see where this is going already. But the nice thing is it looks like there's a lot of stuff going on. It's like there's a lot of mixing and there's things going back and forth. And it looks like you couldn't control any of this, but you can. And now, when you look at the top card, you've got your 9 and you've got your Queen. 9 and Heart. Combine those to make the 9 of Hearts. And of course, now you have the 9 of Hearts as your prediction. Now, a couple little touches here I'll share with you to make this even more deceptive for your friends. There's a little thing you could do called a false cut. And you could use this for anything if you're into this kind of card trick stuff. What's neat about this is it looks like you're giving the deck a little cut and placing the cards on the table, but you're really doing nothing. And this is a lot easier than it actually looks. And I'll turn one of the cards face up so you can see. We'll leave the 5 of diamonds here. So here's what happens. You're going to hold the cards like this, and you're going to cut some cards from this hand into your other hand. And this doesn't have to be pretty. It could be literally you just take some cards. But here's what's deceptive. When you do this little tap, it really sounds like you've done something, but you really haven't. And when you leave the card face up, you can see exactly that nothing is happening. You're literally taking the top half of the deck and just placing it here in this hand. And then the bottom part of the deck is just being tapped and you're dropping it and the top just goes back on top. Nothing has happened. But when the cards are face down, the nice thing is it looks like you've done some kind of cut. Why would anyone question that? So that's a little tip to make that a little more deceiving. Now here's one other thing you can do with this principle. The prediction you can do with any deck, anytime, anywhere, no setup, no preparation. The next thing I'm going to show you is fun if you're in a poker game or you're around some friends at a party and you want to show off and look like you're a pro from Las Vegas. This time you're going to take the 4 aces out of the deck, and you're going to do this before you start the trick, before anyone knows you're going to do anything, because those are going to be on top of the deck. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Secretly, they don't know that they're on top of the deck. Now, this is when that false cut really comes into play. You can have the deck, and then you can go here. I'll even give it a cut so it looks fair, but you know nothing's changed. Now hand the deck to someone and have them deal the deck into a small pile again. Just make sure they deal those top 4 cards. Now they can deal packets. They can deal from the bottom, from the middle, whatever they want, just as long as they have a smaller packet of cards here. Now have them pick up those cards and deal them into 4 piles, right? Instead of 2 this time, 4. Go from left to right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just keep going until you exhaust the rest of the cards that they're holding. And remember, they're doing all of this. You're not doing and touching anything at this point. Now you're out of cards, but the really cool thing is with the same principle used before, you now have the 4 aces staring at them right on top of each packet. And that is a really fun thing you can also do with a deck of cards. So we hope you have fun with this. We hope you've enjoyed this. A fun little way to entertain your guest, your friends, or maybe, just maybe, even your clients when you're out there doing business. Maybe, yeah, there's a deck of cards there. Now you'll do something they will never, ever forget. And that is good business. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll catch you all next time right here at DyNexus Group.